Hello and welcome back to the channel. Okay, first before I start off this, please sub, share and subscribe, but also look out for the Gaming Initiative podcast, which is hosted by myself and Red Dead Panda. We drop those usually around every Sunday, Monday. We're trying to go live, but we've been so busy and caught up in other stuff at the moment. So yeah, please look out for those. They're on my channel. But let's get into the news, shall we? Microsoft's Zenimax buyout complete, listed as realised by investor. So this is the big deal that everyone's been talking about recently. The news, as you'll be aware, and this is going to be a massive show. I think their show's the 24th of March. It's going to be Xbox Bethesda show on the 24th of March. Now this is mainly around Zenimax and Bethesda and their titles. It's not an Xbox show. Apparently they've got their own one coming up. But this news is more around the rumours of because when the rumour first came out, well actually the fact of the matter first came out that Xbox is buying ZeniMax, it wasn't cleared at that stage. It's still going through tweaks and stuff in the contract and all sorts of stuff. There's still some things to be cleared up. I think there's some legal issues and stuff like that as well. But judging by this, it's all been cleared and now Xbox own them. So it's interesting now going forward because now all we've got to wait for is the next bit of news, which is on the lips, the tongues of everybody. What games are going to be exclusive? Factually, because there's been lots of rumours. I predicted that majority of games will be exclusive to the Game Pass model. By that I mean they will probably be on the next gen Xbox as well as PC or anything with Game Pass. Basically, you can play them games on anything with Game Pass. Game Pass is not on Nintendo Switch because they turned it down. They was offered it, they turned it down, and it's not on the PlayStation format. So these games will be console exclusive, but they'll also be on PC, which is fantastic. I think that's great because it's more income, more revenue for Xbox, which is what is being proven. They're buying more studios and releasing more games, and they've obviously got better hardware. The ball's in their court at the moment. Xbox, they're just bouncing it around and just running rings around Sony at the moment. I don't know what Sony is doing at the moment. They've been very sly, very quiet about stuff. Their state of play, for example, I don't know if you saw the podcast recently. It was bad. It wasn't. It was just very, very average. I think I rated it a 4, maybe a 3. There was nothing new really, and the games are pretty much all A and AA games and third party. And quite a lot of multiplats. Not many of them are exclusive at all. So it doesn't say much more. That's a rubbish. Rubbish. That's rubbish. That doesn't tell me to open it up anyway. No. Right. Okay. Anyway, yes. So basically, that is the headline. I can find it somewhere else, but I can't find it. It is elsewhere. I have been reading it somewhere else. I just opened this randomly, thinking I'd get more from it. I didn't. 8 people disliked it. What's not to dislike? How salty must they be? Really salty. So yes. So what do you think is going to be in the future of ZeniMax and Xbox? What games do you think are going to be exclusive or not? Some people say that they believe it could be exclusive just to Game Pass, and the fact that the games will still go to PlayStation for physical copies, but they'll be day and date on Game Pass, which means you can either play them on Game Pass pretty much for free, or you can buy them for £70 on the PlayStation, which the money will still go to the Xbox. I'm not sure they'll do that. It will be interesting if they do that, because obviously Xbox will still make the money from sales that they sell on the PlayStation console. So all these PlayStation gamers going, the game's I'm going to play it on my PlayStation. Xbox won't care because you'll be paying £70 for it, whereas I'll be on my Xbox getting it for free. So yeah, the joke's really on you, really. There, you can buy as many Xbox games on your PlayStation as you wish. But it'd be good to hear your views and comments down below. Let's move on to the next. So, as many of you were aware, and many more were in denial of, Xbox Series X took the market in the UK in January 2021, followed by the Switch and the PS5. Yes, the PS5 came third in sales of the console in the UK for January, which is quite astounding because it's always been a PlayStation market until Switch launched obviously, and then the Switch took over, and now the Xbox Series X has took lead, pushing the PS5 to third. But what's interesting good news about this, the Nintendo Switch continues to do amazingly. Nintendo Switch took 87% of Japan's console market in 2020. That is massive. So 80% of consoles sold in Japan were the Switch, and almost 50% of software market too. Considering the amount of constant sales there are and stuff compared to other things, that is incredible. Nintendo coming out on top in Japan was no surprise, according to Famitsu Kadawaka. I probably pronounced that really badly wrong. The 6 million consoles sold last year accounted for 87% of Japan's console market. The Switch's nearest rival, Sony's PlayStation 4, only managed 542,000 console sales in the same period. Bloody hell. So the Switch sold 6 million, PlayStation 4 only sold 500,000. Wow. See, now that's something to boast about. If you're going to talk console sales, that's something to boast about. So this basically goes on to say the Switch is doing incredibly well in Japan, and it is worldwide. I think it's still #1 worldwide in sales, monthly sales, and it most probably will surpass the PS4. Not that it matters, nobody cares, apart from a certain fan base care a lot about sales. So I wonder how they will eventually take the news when the Switch surpasses it. That would be an interesting take on that. It would probably be flip-floppy, back-flippy time, where they just deny it, or they just say sales are irrelevant. But we'll come across that when it happens, and no doubt I'll do a backtracking flip-flop video on it, of them doing just that. But this is sort of, I guess this sort of lines in with other news that's been happening with Sony in Japan as well. And that will be this news. Sony winds down Japan studio to focus on Astro's Playroom team. The studio who worked on several iconic PlayStation titles, but now it looks like they're just going to focus only on Astro's Playroom. Sony has confirmed that Japan studio, its internal video game developer based in Tokyo, will essentially wind down and refocus around a single game. Japan studio said as of April 1st it will be a recentered to Team Asobi, the creative team behind Astro's Playroom, allowing the team to focus on a single vision and build on the popularity of Astro's Playroom. In other words, get ready for more Astro games. And that is it really. So that's pretty, one of the studios just giving up to sort of just pump out a really minor game really. It's not a big game. And then people are going to say, oh, you know, Xbox does it with Halo. Halo's massive. Astro's not in the same level. So for a studio just to nestle down on just Astro's Playroom is just a weird decision by Sony. Especially when really they're lacking in first-party titles at the moment. That's all going to this generation, the PS5 generation. They're massively lacking in first-party titles. In fact, first-party exclusives for the PS5. In fact, the Xbox Series X has triple the amount of first-party console-exclusive titles compared to PS5. So that's quite shocking. But there's been loads of news recently about this, and Sony sort of pulling out of the Japan market, really giving up on it. And that sort of coincides with them moving to sort of California, I believe, is America. California, moving their main studio, main offices there. So let me know what you think below. What's the future for Sony in Japan? Do you think Sony will become more and more sort of an American market, aim at American audience? Because at the end of the day, that's where the majority of their software sales are, and that's where they make the majority of their money. So will they become more of an American market-based, a Western-based company, and just move away from Japan altogether? Put down your comments below, and let's move on to the final topic now. And on to the final bit of news, which is quite interesting, and it's actually nothing new now. We're starting to catch hold of what Phil's actually been doing. So this is to do with head of Xbox Phil Spencer could be teasing a Hideo Kojima collaboration. An industry insider has stated that Phil Spencer's Kojima Productions tease is probably significant following widespread speculation online. Now, fans are speculating what is next for Hideo Kojima and his game development studio Kojima Productions following the release of Death Stranding. Though the game initially got very mixed reviews, Death Stranding was a big success on PC, receiving markedly better views from across the industry as well as PC players. Recently, fans got in quite the stir after they spotted a Luden's figure on a bookshelf behind Phil Spencer, the head of gaming over at Xbox. Now, industry insider and reporter of VentureBeat, Jeff Grubb, says that the tease is probably significant, meaning that fans may see some collaboration between Xbox and Kojima sometime in the future, despite Death Stranding's initial PlayStation exclusivity. Yes. So what this basically is about. So what this basically is all about is Phil keeps doing his interviews, but he's been dropping subtle hints in the interviews, in the background of the interviews. That's what people are speculating. For example, in this video, in this little interview he did here, in the background is the Xbox Series Slim. Now, this is before they even announced the Xbox Series Slim or showed it or anything, but he apparently had it tucked away on a shelf in the background, so it was visible. And that's not the only hint he's done either, because in another interview he had a picture of Indiana Jones as a poster on the wall behind him before the announcement of the Indiana Jones games. And obviously Machine Games, who now Xbox own, who are part of Zenimax Studios, are making the Indiana Jones games. So prior to all that knowledge even coming out, Phil Spencer randomly had in the background a picture or the ornament of Indiana Jones. But also now we had this, the headset that was shown here in this. I can't remember what this is. This is to advertise Xbox and the way forward and blah blah, the Xbox console. The headset he's wearing, I can't remember the actor's name. Sorry, he's wearing the new Xbox headset which is just released, just been announced and has been releasing. So this is like way before the headset was even announced, but he's actually wearing the headset. So that's another major hint that things to come. He's sort of just dropping these sort of Easter eggs. That's what they are. They're Easter eggs into his interviews or into sort of Xbox game clips. So this is driving the media wild now, searching these things out. And from that's what led us into the recent video of Phil Spencer in his recent interview with Luden's figurine on the shelf behind him next to the Xbox logo symbol, as you can see there, which is pretty random if you think about it, considering there's been no link as it has been as of yet to Xbox. So it's odd that he'd put something by Kojima next to the Xbox symbol. So people are speculating, is this now another Easter egg? As Grubb went on to say, I don't think Phil's trying to be coy anymore. He knows what people do when they look at a shelf, and he's doing it deliberately. Grubb is probably referring to Phil Spencer and his Xbox Series S on his shelf in plain view months before the console was visually revealed, which I showed earlier. So a final roundup of everything. What do you think's going on? Do you think this is a red herring, or do you think Kojima is apparently going to be exclusive to Xbox? Are they going to purchase Kojima and going forward, or will he just maybe all his games be going to Gamepass? In addition, it was shown that Google were working on a game by him. It's going to be a horror game, which is recently cancelled. It's going to be episodic game that was recently apparently cancelled, which Kojima was working on. Will that be coming to Game Pass now? Because an episodic horror game will suit Game Pass perfectly for it to be on there. Is it a hint of that game now going to exclusive to Xbox Game Pass? Will it be Kojima exclusive? Is it just Death Stranding, as I said before? Let me hear your comments below. Love to hear your thoughts and everything. Always like to debate, as always. Like reading your comments. Please share and like, and thank you all for watching, and goodbye for now.